Hi, my name is Asha Taylor Welsh. I am 32 years old and I've lived in Maryland for most of my life. Man, growing up into a Black woman, starting from a girl, obviously, a young woman, there was a lot of challenges, but it was also a lot of fun. In elementary school, had a lot of different friends, a lot of people of color, and back then you didn't realize how lucky you were for that, because it was saturated with white people, and so I didn't know how lucky I was to have a Filipino friend and have a Hispanic friend and have another Black friend and still also have a white friend, and just having that variety of a clique really, I think, really helped shape me into wanting to learn more about the world. And then growing into a young woman, it just made me want to travel, but then also knowing and hearing about a lot of the stories that Black people faced, you know, going to these other countries and the racism that they faced, it made me scared too. It made me pull back from wanting to travel, especially by myself. Being a Black woman is scary because we are taught to hide pain. We are taught and still taught that if something happens to us, nothing will be done about it, because there are so many of us missing from years ago. It's scary, and that's one of the things that does unfortunately keep me from traveling alone, because I know that if something were to happen to me, there's only so much that my parents and friends can do about it. Black girls are more likely to be molested and raped by someone in their household, or someone close to their household, and not talk about it. And it's sad, and I think that we're starting to break away from that. A lot more women are talking about being vulnerable and being open and going to therapy for past hurts. I'm always hopeful that we're coming out on the other side and coming out more resilient and stronger. And having weak moments doesn't make us completely weak or incredible, or it doesn't discredit us whatsoever. And so I'm loving the change I'm seeing with that. How are Black women triumphant? How are we not? We win at everything we put our hand to, pretty much. Obviously, it's your own skill set and how you're wired, but I feel like once we put our mind to it, we win. And I think because it was embedded in us also to be losers, to be only a certain kind of person and only a certain stereotype that we had to adhere to, because that was shown in the media, or that's how they wanted us portrayed, to keep us feeling insignificant and less than. We still rise above. It's always taught to us that we have to work 10 times harder to get half of what the rest of the world is getting. And so that in itself is embedded in us because of what we've been shown, what we've been taught, what has been perceived of us. So it's disheartening to want to thrive and want to be a part of something greater when you can be also noticed as a threat and be taken out at any time. We are already trying to knock things out of the park, and so we step up, and we do every single time. A message I would love to get out to Black people is continue to explore who you are. You're never too old, never too young to say who you are, what you want, what you like, what you don't like. Demand respect for what you do or don't like. So many of us had the same childhood, even though some of us were nerdy or quirky or queer or whatever. We all had the same underlying childhood and some of the same experiences and traumas and things like that. And that's what kind of unites us that line that traces us all and kind of connects us and brings us back to like, hey, you're like me. I actually can kind of learn from you. Continue to find out who you are and embrace it, love on it, respect it yourself, and then demand the same from others. And to also reach out and love, your Black counterparts. And also the biggest thing, I think, go to counseling. Seek counseling. I think we all have something, even if you weren't hurt as a young child. I think there are just so many things that are forced upon us, even through social media.